At the docks of the sea near Oregon, Grunkle Stan was gonna take Dipper, Wendy, and Mabel by ship to New Zealand on a cruise. It was a different way to travel, but Grunkle Stan wanted to have them try it. They had also asked Pacifica if she would like to venture with them, and she of course said yes to. I can't wait to go on the cruise. This will be our honeymoon, Wendy, Dipper said, kissing his wife's cheek. You bet, Dipper. Now that I'm 25 and you're 23 with Mabel, we can go on the bar and drink together, Wendy replied, kissing Dipper. Pacifica should be here by now. What is taking her so long? Mabel asked impatiently. Have some patience, will you, Mabel? She is here now with her ticket, Grunkle Stan replied, seeing Pacifica with her bags. You're here. That's awesome to hear, Dipper said, seeing his friend. So when are we getting on board? Pacifica asked. Right about now. Let's load up our stuff and get on board. As Grunkle Stan said that, Dipper along with Wendy, Mabel, and Pacifica loaded up their stuff on the ship before boarding it. As soon as they were on the ship, Dipper and Wendy began to talk about their fun on their honeymoon on the cruise. We'll be able to drink at the bar, gamble at the casino, and even eat all the stuff we can eat at the buffet, Wendy said while reading a cruise magazine. Why are we going to New Zealand? Mabel asked. Grunkle Stan's got a special friend who lives there, and we're going to meet him in person in another country, Dipper answered. It'll be nice to get far away from the camps, and nice to be away from Robbie, Wendy added, dreaded the thought of Robbie, who is her ex-boyfriend. Want to go and have some fun, Wendy? Mabel and Pacifica are gonna have some girl time, Dipper suggested. Well, that's what Mabel and Pacifica are gonna do, not me. Sounds good. Let's do some of that honeymoon stuff, Wendy smiled. Then she followed Dipper out of their room. Wendy and Dipper came by a restaurant on the ship. They both stuffed their plates with all kinds of food that were there. As they filled up their plates and headed towards their table, Wendy and Dipper began to eat. So Wendy, are you enjoying yourself on this honeymoon? Dipper asked. I am, Mason. I really want to go on the cruise, Wendy replied, with you because you're my husband. Plus, I kind of remember my parents went on a cruise for their honeymoon. That must have been before you were born, Dipper stated, as he had a bite on some salmon that was put on his plate. It was, although my dad doesn't remember much about it. If you do win at the gambling the casino, you'll have to buy me something, Wendy winked twice at Dipper. Yeah, I know what you mean, Wendy. I know money isn't everything, because you're more important to me than money, Dipper said. I know what you mean, Dipper. Like money isn't everything. Wendy then had a bite of her crab legs as she and Dipper enjoyed their dinner. While the couple was having fun eating, drinking, gambling, and winning and doing stuff that couples do, Pacifica and Mabel and Grunkle Stan were hanging out on the ship deck and even meeting new people. This cruise is so much fun. I love it here, Pacifica sighed as she breathed in the ocean air. I know, and I can't wait to see if there's any boys that are cute, Mabel said as she grabbed herself a snack and a drink, handed one to Pacifica. Grunkle Stan was entertaining the guests on deck to make them happy. Say, Mabel, do you want to go to the spa they have on this ship? It'll be just the two of us. Plus, it'll mean girl time, Pacifica asked. Sure, a spa day sounds good, Mabel said. She along with Pacifica headed for the spa, where they were getting a good makeover. Just as they were getting some big chairs for the makeover, Wendy showed up and joined them. Hey, Wendy, I didn't expect to see you be here, Pacifica said in surprise. Wendy sat beside Mabel as Pacifica was beside Wendy, making Wendy sit between them. I decided to get a makeover here at the spa. Why not make it as free? Wendy asked as she sat in relief. Where's Dipper? Did you two have fun? Mabel asked. Yeah, we ate a lot of food at the buffet, and it was really good. Also, Dipper's at the casino, gambling in hopes of winning, Wendy answered. I hope he buys you something if he wins at the casino, Pacifica chuckled. Knowing the dude, I'm sure he'll win big, Wendy replied while chuckling. The girls had their afternoon girl time at the spa. They got a nice makeover that afternoon. As soon as it was getting to late afternoon, Wendy starts to get ready to go to the bar with Dipper. They had plans to go spend the evening at the bar together. As Dipper was getting ready to go, he knocked on the bathroom door to see if Wendy was ready. "Wendy, are you ready to go?" Dipper asked. "I will be. Just give me a second," Wendy replied, fixing her hair before walking out of the bathroom. Dipper's eyes widened at the sight of his wife. She was just as beautiful as a princess. "Wow, Wendy, you're so beautiful," Dipper said in surprise. He couldn't take his eyes away from Wendy. "You're so handsome yourself, Dips," Wendy replied, hugging Dipper before the two headed out for the bar. When dinner time was approaching, Mabel, along with Grunkle Stan and Pacifica, headed over to the buffet to get some food to eat. They were already aware that Dipper and Wendy were at the bar, so they wouldn't be too concerned for them. Dinner was great at the buffet. Mabel kinda did go crazy on the desserts, but other than that, the food was great. Meanwhile, in the next level of the ship, Wendy and Dipper were at the bar drinking. As they were drinking, Wendy and Dipper began to laugh and tell jokes while the music was going on. But suddenly, Wendy began to sniff the air. "Dips, do you smell what I smell?" Wendy asked her husband. "Is it the drinks?" "Yeah, I smell them," Dipper replied, not smelling the smoke. "Not the drinks, there's smoke. I smell," Wendy shouted, smacking Dipper's face. It wasn't long before Dipper sniffed the air. Sure enough, there was smoke. "Oh God, what's going on?" Dipper asked in a panicking state. As soon as the cruise guests started to evacuate the bar, the ship was somehow caught on fire. Wendy and Dipper raced to their bedroom to grab their things. When they rushed inside their bedroom, Mabel and Pacifica, along with Grunkle Stan, were there. "There you are, you two. We gotta get to the lifeboats. The ship is on fire," Grunkle Stan stated. "We smelled smoke at the bar." Wendy sniffed the air at first, Dipper said. They soon rushed out with their things onto the ship's deck to aboard the lifeboat. They got in with their things as the lifeboat was gently being dropped onto the sea. Grunkle Stan began to row the boat as far away from the cruise ship as he could. Since no one knew how the cruise ship got caught on fire, whatever it did was a mystery to them. Dipper, along with Pacifica, Wendy, and Mabel, looked at the ship just a few feet away from them. The flames were bursting onto the ship. They were soon surrounded by smoke, not far from where they were rowing. A lot of people got on the lifeboats, but not everyone was lucky. As Grunkle Stan got the boat far away from the cruise ship, they could hear people screaming in despair in the distance. They were glad to be away from the ship, but saddened to those lives lost during the fire of the cruise ship. They were lost due to the smoke being heavy, preventing them from seeing very well. The next morning, Wendy woke up to find herself, Dipper, Mabel, Grunkle Stan, and Pacifica stranded on the ocean. They didn't know where they were, but she knew that they were a long way from land. As she looked in the distance to her left, she could see that there was an island from there. She had to wake everyone up. "Land! I see land!" Wendy called out, waking everyone in the lifeboat up. "Wait, did you see land?" Mabel asked. "Yes, to my left," Wendy added while shouting. Grunkle Stan looked into Wendy's left to see an island not far from where they were, and Wendy was right. "Well, I'll be damned. That island is our way to go." Grunkle Stan began to row the boat towards the island. It was very deserted, meaning that there was no one living there. As they headed in that direction, everyone knew that they were going to be stranded on an island. "We're gonna be stranded here. Great," Pacifica sighed in frustration. "No one panic about this. And yes, I know it's a bad situation right now, but we'll get through this," Wendy reassured her, Mabel, and Dipper, and Grunkle Stan. "The first thing to do is stay calm. Once we're calm, we'll think of what to do." "Wendy's right. It's too bad we can't use phones to call for help," Dipper agreed, sighing at the fact that there was no cell service. "That's because there's no cell service on the island, or internet, or TV, or electricity," Mabel added. "That doesn't help us. Now how are we going to get home?" Pacifica asked. I used to watch movies and shows with people stuck on an island, so I have picked up most of their survival skills they used. I learned about it in school as well, so just follow my lead on this, Wendy said. Wendy's right. In Gravity Falls, we've learned some survival skills there, so let's use them on here on this island. I'm sure someone will come and save us, Dipper added. Just then, he and everyone else felt the boat hit on land. Grunkle Stan was the first to get off the boat. He admired the tropical island around him. It was a very big island all around. I'm sure someone will come and save us. Let me tie up the boat somewhere so it doesn't float away. Then we'll figure out something, Grunkle Stan said. As soon as everyone jumped off the boat, he tied the boat to a nearby palm tree so it wouldn't float away by the tide. I've got my survival stuff with me, so they'll be useful, Wendy said, pulling out her axe and her hunting knife. We should build the SOS signal, so that way if we see a ship, they'll come and rescue us, Mabel suggested. Good idea. Why not build the signal as a fire? It worked in some cases, Dipper added, liking Mabel's suggestion. Yeah, I like that idea. Then we would light it on fire when we see a ship. So that way when we see a ship and light the signal on, they'll get the smoke and come for us, Pacifica said. The boat is tied up. The first thing we're going to do is not panic. It will never get us anywhere, Grunkle Stan said, getting everyone's attention. First thing to do while stuck on this island is to find food, which means we'll have to venture off on this island to find it. Sounds like a good start, Dipper nodded in agreement. As Grunkle Stan led everyone in the island into the jungle, there were pretty flowers, plants, and other things to see. They kept an eye out for food, as they would need it for their first priority. Do you think some animals live on this island? Mabel asked. Mostly yes, wild ones, Wendy answered. What about people? Will we see someone else here who's been here longer than us? Dipper asked. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see more people. It's hard to say, Wendy answered Dipper's question, just as Pacifica saw some fruit on the trees. I found some fruit in the trees, Pacifica said, pointing at the fruit. There's bananas, mangoes, papayas, coconuts, and even some other tropical fruit, Grunkle Stan added, seeing the fruit in the trees. As everyone started to collect fruit, visit using their survival skills while at it. As soon as they got the fruit, they found a small stream where there was a small waterfall with fresh water. Fresh water, perfect for drinking and cooking, Dipper said. I think I'll get used to living here within a few months or less. It feels like an isolated vacation, Mabel added. As soon as we gather some food, let's head back to the island where the boat is all tied up. Then we'll have to build a huge hut for all of us, Grunkle Stan advised. When they got back to the front of the island where the boat was, Grunkle Stan began to store the food in the boat for now. Wendy took Mabel and Dipper into the jungle, where they began to cut down some palm trees. With the trees they cut down to use as materials to build a hut, the leaves from the trees were used as well as to build stuff. Grunkle Stan taught everyone how to build a hut with the stuff on the island, which everyone pitched in on the building. It was going to be a while before help arrived, so they have to put their effort together on building a huge hut for them. After moving inside the huge hut that they built, they moved their belongings and food inside their new home for a while. As no one was sure when help will arrive, but all they could do was just build a signal for help. As soon as they see the ship, they'll light the signal on fire in hopes of the smoke to catch their attention from the fire. Grunkle Stan taught everyone about survival skills while on the island, but Wendy was the expert at it. However, she's watched TV to know all about survival. Everyone soon learned how to cook food by the fire, fish let out of the ocean, and even pick fruit from the trees on the island they had. They had to wait, however, for help to come and rescue them. Who knows when help will come? It could be from weeks to months, and possibly years.